Welcome to my podcast, Lips of Steel, unscripted, unfiltered, and unstoppable. Conversations with and about women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. My name is Nicole Redumas, and I'm going to be your host. I am a registered nurse, professor, entrepreneur, businesswoman, and I am bringing on guests to talk about all kinds of subjects. Today, I have my dear friend, Heather, and we're going to be talking about fitness after 50, not just physical fitness, but also financial fitness. So let's go.
Thanks
Welcome,
for having.
Heather.
Thank you for having me, Nicole. I'm very
Yes.
excited about this.
I'm excited too. So just a few things about you.
All right.
Pretty cool. You were a fitness model, and you did Bally fitness commercials.
Right.
So tell me about that.
Well, I guess you would say I started out as being an athlete. Later on in life, not until I was 21 did I start being physically active, physically fit. And then I decided to take that into modeling. I figured I worked hard doing my fitness. Yeah. So I did fitness modeling. And that's where I met my husband. He was the creative director for Bally Total Fitness at the time. And so we met on set, and he was a triathlete. I was a triathlete. We were training for the same triathlon in my hometown and of Malibu.
Okay.
So that's where,
That's a very big competition, actually, that's still going today.
Yep. We're still doing that every year. So let's see what else. So then we got married, and but while I was a fitness model, I was also a flight attendant. So I traveled the world. And then when we got married, we decided to have kids. Later in life, I was 35 when I had my first, and 37.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, 37 when I had second.
Okay.
So
You were starting out having kids when I was finishing having kids.
all these things that, it's never too late to, I guess having children later in life, I liked it. I appreciate it. But, then I had to go back to work. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but financially we couldn't afford it. So I had to go back to work. So that's when I decided to get my personal training certificate.
Okay.
And then I started a business. It's called Malibu Fountain of Youth Fitness, because fitness is the fountain of youth.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about. Yeah, because fitness has basically been your life.
Yes.
Not
21.
From
Yeah,
21. So, you and I met because of our kids and going to school, and our kids danced together. So, and you started training me a few years ago, and I got to kind of see what your knowledge base was and your passion, your actual passion for having a healthy body and a healthy mind. And, you've helped a lot of people transition them through different parts of their lives.
For sure.
Fitness.
That was my passion, was helping people. At first it was difficult for me because I always felt that personal trainers had this stigma attached to them. And so I didn't want to do that. But then I realized that's ridiculous. I can really help people and inspire people. And I think especially as we get older, and women as we get older, it's so important to exercise, and now as you get older, to lift weights and to be healthy. And if you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you. That's something that we have to take charge of in our life. So yes, I wanted to inspire people and women to continue to be active and healthy as they age. And it's never, to my point earlier, it's never too late.
Well, and when our mothers were raising us, the big thing back then was Jack LaLanne and jazzercise, move your body. It was like a lot of very fast, active, but research and the things that have come out about fitness have changed. And we're recognizing that what the younger body needs is very different than what the older body needs.
Right.
Did I say older? Yes, we're older. I embrace it. I am older. I'm almost 60 years old. And so I recognize having to make changes. And I don't know if you've ever followed Dr. Andrew Weil. So he does a lot of stuff about health and fitness, and he was a marathon runner. And he recognized that the impact of these long runs and running marathons was not good for his body as he was aging. And so he switched to swimming. But the important thing was to keep moving.
Right.
And it's, if you slow down or if you stop.
Right. It's hard to get it back. It's not hard to get it back. It's just harder to get it back. Right. But to that point, I was a runner. I was passionate about running. And then, but I was getting injured even at 21. So I decided that's when I got into triathlon.
Okay.
Because you could swim, bike, and run, and it was not as hard on your body. But it wasn't until later in life that I started lifting weights.
So how old were you when you started lifting?
Probably after I did the Hawaii Ironman, so 32, probably 30, in my early 30s. But I wasn't really big on it until I think 40.
Well, a lot of women don't want to lift weights because they're worried that it's going to bulk them up. They're going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're going to look like this,
Right. And I always tell people, lift the weights, and when you get to that point where you're feeling like you're bulking up, then we'll have a discussion. But 99% of the time, that doesn't ever happen.
Start
because it's
lifting.
Right, because it's so hard to get big and bulky. I mean, I know
we don't have the hormones for it.
Right, especially as we get older.
I was going to say, especially as we don't have the hormones for a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Let alone building muscle. I mean, that's something that I've been looking into with this whole, the whole peptide thing, and looking at how peptides impact. Because our bodies are for so many reasons, our bodies are depleted, but we don't have really what we needed to keep our bodies youthful and healthy, which is why we see the decline.
Our growth hormone starts declining at age 30 by 1% a year, and so that's, as you get older, it just gets harder and harder. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's just not as easy. I mean, for a young person, they have a lot easier of a time getting stronger, bigger, bulkier muscles.
Right.
And it's also genetic too.
Well, there's
there's a few people that I have known in my career that bulked up easily, but
I remember seeing a thing probably on social media or something of this woman who decided at the age of 60 to start lifting and to start working out. And she was, I think at that point, 70. Holy crap. She looked amazing.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow. And, just inspiring people to never look at the number of their age.
Right.
Because that really is meaningless. I mean, I know people that are my age that look 80.
Right.
And I know people that look 30.
Right.
People say, I look younger than my age.
Right.
Yay. But
how old are you again?
I'll be 60 in December.
Wow, you look amazing. Yeah.
7 kids, 6 grandkids. So the grandkids keep you young.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Yeah.
I have a car seat in my car. I thought I was done with that, sending my daughter off to college, and I look in my car, I'm like, there's a car seat in my car. So let's talk a little bit about what you would recommend differently for a workout, let's say past 50. Like, as a woman is going through menopause, the hormones are changing and shifting. Some women at 50, I went through menopause at 50, but I was one of the lucky ones. It was like this. Snap. I was done. No hot flashes.
You're lucky.
I was, yes. Yeah. Listen, I was not lucky in so many other ways, so I'll take this one.
Yeah.
But so what are some of your recommendations of a workout? Like, how much time should they spend? What kind of activities? How should they switch it up during the week?
Well, first of all, start doing something. Most people don't have
a step.
Yeah,
get off
do
the couch.
Something, whether it's go for a walk. But I think to that question, definitely weightlifting 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
And
weight-bearing exercises are very important for the bones.
Right.
Because of osteoporosis.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and you start small. You could start with 2-pound weights and then gradually increase at 3 pounds, 4 pounds. I mean, your grocery bag weighs more than 5 pounds. So don't get too hung up on the 2-pound weights. But, that's another thing I tell people is like, you want to be able to lift your groceries and you want to be able to lift your suitcase in the overhead bin. You want to have that kind of strength.
Right.
And more as you get older. So, I've got hundreds of videos on YouTube that are free, and they're hour-long videos. We start with
what is your YouTube channel?
It's Heather Wildman.
Heather Wildman. Okay, you've heard it. There you go.
So it starts with like a 10-15-minute warm-up. Let me just back up for 1 second. It's designed for any level of fitness, and you can modify all the exercises. You can use no weights, 2-pound weights, 20-pound weights. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. My stepmother is 67 years old and still does it 3 days a week, and she looks amazing. So, and it's compound movements, upper, lower body.
Do you recommend doing the leg day, the arm day, the core day, or do you recommend doing a little of each of the?
I think it depends. It's very independent. It depends on what you want to do. I do total body workout 3 days a week, and then I pair that with cardio. So I'll do the total body weightlifting 3 days a week, and then I'll hike or walk or run or do some kind of other exercise. And I do try to do some kind of physical activity every day. I don't think you need a rest day. I mean, you have an active recovery rest day where you go walk on the beach for 20 minutes,
So explain active recovery, that term active recovery.
So you're recovering, but you're still being active. So it's just more of a light, moderate, you're not sprinting or lifting heavy, but you're still moving your body. Because
moving every day.
Yeah. Something. Move your body every day. But it's about finding something that you love. I know you love dance classes. I mean, so that could be an active recovery day, or that could be a workout day, whatever, but ideally it's finding the thing that you love to do and that you get excited to do. Now, that doesn't mean I am excited about every workout that I do. Most of them I have to trick myself into it, but I always know that I feel better for it afterwards.
Yeah. I wake up in the morning, I play tennis a couple days a week, and there are sometimes I think, is it going to rain? Maybe it'll rain. I can just lay in bed. It'll be so nice. I'll drink my coffee and it'll be, I'll get to just chill in bed. And then I'm like, what the hell? Just get up.
Right.
Because I know how great I feel after.
Right.
And, spending a couple hours on the court, especially because it's social. So, my life has shifted and changed being an empty nester, and getting out of the house and getting social and getting with other people
that's your activity.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's part of the mental health.
Right.
We, as our lives change and evolve, we've been, for me, I've been a mom for 41 years, actually. My God, my son's 41 now. Wow. But that was my life and that was my focus. And now I'm not going to PTA meetings. I'm not dropping kids off at school or picking them up, and I'm not doing any of that stuff anymore.
So you have more time.
I have more time, which means, rather than sitting around in a house, getting social and, making sure that I'm keeping those connections with people, meeting new people, keeping my mind constantly, moving.
And we are creatures of habit. So starting a habit is what's important too, is that, because once you start that habit and you keep that habit going, that's the key.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Habits, And it's hard because when you say that, creatures of habit, I think change is always, I don't like to use the word always. Change is difficult because it means we have to give up something. And it could be something bad or it could be something good. Right. But we have to give up something to create the new space. And as we're evolving and changing into this post-menopause, post-child rearing and all that, something I'm not having to deal with, but even looking at your relationship, like marriage and what does that look like? Kind of shifting here for you. The other thing we want to talk about is financial wellness and financial fitness. And you were kind of a badass and made a big decision 2 years ago?
Yeah.
About 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So tell me about that.
So I had the wellness business, and I had been doing it for 11 years, and I did it mostly so that I could still raise my children and make money at the same time. So I wanted to be able to be at home and do the things and still make money. Anyways, I saw that my youngest was going to be going off to college, and I thought, am I going to be able to keep doing this business for another 10, 20 years? Because I knew that financially we were not going to be in a situation that I didn't have to work. I have to keep working.
Well, you're paying for 2 college tuitions right now. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And my husband's health isn't good. So anyways, I decided to get my real estate license and do real estate in Malibu, and also get my license in Aspen so I could do both markets.
Did you visit Aspen a lot?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Aspen.
Perfect.
So makes sense.
It's a pleasure. Yeah. It's perfect for the tax return.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm going to Aspen on business. No, really.
But it takes courage. Do you know how many people said to me, like, what? Why? You can't start a new career at 50. I was 54 at the time. Okay. And it was really sad how many people pushed back on me. Yeah.
People actually would try to discourage you from that?
Yeah. They were like, wow. Well, why? And it was, I think some people get, I don't know, I can't explain it. But anyways, it gave me more fuel, actually, to be like, of course I can. Although it is scary to start all over again. Well, one, going back to school, taking all those tests at 54 years old when I hadn't been in school in many, many years. Yeah. So, but I did it. And then, I got the second license and just jumped in with both feet. And I continued to do the personal training for the first 2 years because it's, real estate is at the time not very lucrative. It just takes time to get feet wet. Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're coming in, technically at 54 years old, you're coming in entry level.
Right.
And what is that like to,
Well, fortunately for me, I know a lot of people in Malibu, being from there, raised there. And it's a lot about connections. And so I thought that would be easy for me to break in, but it's taken a little bit of time for people to see me with a different hat on.
Okay.
But
and again, it's about, we talk about change. It's not just hard for us to change, it's hard for other people to see us change.
Right.
Because we fill a role for them. Mm-hmm. And you were the fitness trainer, you were that person, and then suddenly you're going to be a businesswoman and you're going to take on this whole new career. How do you relate to somebody who is shifting and moving?
Right. Some people have been very supportive. Like I said earlier that some people were not supportive, but there have been more that have been supportive. Okay. But
it's hard to get past the ones that are not supportive. Because, we do look to our friends for validation and affirmation and encouragement to do the hard thing. And when you have people that doubt you, I don't know about you, I don't know very many people out there that don't have some issues with worthiness.
Right. We all do.
So you get, it's like you get one person, you got a ton of people say, yay, go you. And you get that one person that go, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? That's dumb. And boom, hits that spot.
Right. That's why there's a lot of self-talk that you have to, have with yourself on so many levels, whether it's about exercise or food or, starting a new career. Yeah. We just have to try to be kind to ourselves and keep going. But I still have those moments or days that are, I question, what am I doing? Why,
I questioned myself a lot as I was getting ready to come here today. What am I doing? Yeah. I'm doing a podcast? What the heck? Why am I doing that? So I get that. But there were some other motivations for you taking on a career that would bring you some financial stability.
So my husband's health so my husband, we've been married 21 years, been together 28 years. And, times have not always been perfect, as I hope I think most relationships are not perfect.
Right.
And so that was between the relationship not being perfect and then his health. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And so, and because the financial situation is not great, that also put this, I've got to do something to be able to support myself and my children as he gets sicker and sicker. And so, yeah, that was part of it. But, it's not easy.
I mean, facing the health of a spouse. I mean, you obviously know my situation. I'm a widow. My husband died suddenly, almost 13 years ago. It'll be 13 years next month. And the reality of when you see, whether or not your relationship is perfect or not, financial situation, whatever it is, but when you're looking at some, I'm not happy where I'm at. I'm scared. Mm-hmm. And you can't look to somebody else to change your situation.
Right.
And
yeah, that's so true, because I wasn't happy and I was blaming him for my unhappiness. And I realized it's not up to him to make me happy. I have to make myself happy. And so, I mean, thankfully he was supportive of me. He's always been supportive of me, but, I forgot where I was going with that.
you said about making yourself happy.
Yeah.
And
so, but back to his health, as much as, we had difficulties in the past, he's my best friend, and I don't want to see him pass away like your husband. I mean, you don't contemplate. I had never contemplated it, but I've been contemplating it a lot lately, and it's scary, and it's sad, and it's heartbreaking, and all those things that, I think people look at me and think, oh, I've got the greatest life. I mean, recently I had that. I'm like, wait, what? Because I don't know if social media, you just see these snippets.
Right.
And
somebody wants to put out here's my dirty underwear for the day. Take a look.
Right.
I'll throw my socks in too.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, everyone struggles, I think. And I think that when the picture looks rosy, there's got to be things that aren't. I mean, nobody's life is perfect.
No, it's not. And I think that's one of the dangers of social media, is that it does cast this image. Mm-hmm. And I think people sometimes only want to look at the surface because that's what they want to see.
Right.
Because if you have to look deeper, if I'm your friend, we talk about everything.
Right.
And I love that we have that connection and that we have that intimacy of friendship, that we can talk about the hard stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that everybody always has that.
That's so sad.
And it's just because, I've gone through traumas and dramas and stuff like that. And I've had people that stood by me, and I've definitely had people that haven't. Mm-hmm. And to have people paint this picture that you're, just because social media says things look rosy, it's like, hello, underneath here, there's me struggling, fighting, being a badass, changing my career, taking on my happiness, and all the things.
Exactly. Yeah. But thankfully we're, strong enough to be able to do that. Yeah. I could play the martyr and be like, oh, woe is me, my husband, but I choose not to look at it that way and be positive. Because the alternative is not a place where I want to spend much time.
Right. Well, and that'd be just a miserable place to be.
But some people do live that way.
No. Oh, yes. I've seen it. And, it's extremely frustrating to watch that.
Right.
Because it's always somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else that needs to, like you were saying earlier, you were not feeling happy and you were kind of blaming him, and it's easy to do. He was getting sick, and he was,
and we were struggling financially.
His business was struggling and all that. And there's a lot of things that's easy to go, hey, you.
Yeah.
make me happy.
Right.
Here's my dream. Here's my picture of a dream. Now you fill that cup for me, right?
Well, I wanted him to go and get a job and make more money and,
Right.
all that stuff. But that's why I was like, okay, I can't leave it up to him. And that's what I had done my whole life, or our whole lives together. I was like, okay, he'll take care of it. He'll take care of it. And then I woke up and I realized he's not going to take care of it, and he maybe can't. So it's now up to me
Right.
to figure it out and do my best to make that happen. So that's
And you're doing so much with the real estate, which is, I love watching your videos. And you're going out there. I mean, we've had these devastating fires in the Palisades in Malibu, which are just, I have not toured the area yet, and I almost don't want to because I used to live in the Palisades, and I know it. Just some of the pictures just break my heart.
It's heartbreaking.
But you're trying to bring awareness that Malibu is still here.
Right.
The businesses are still here. They still need people.
Right.
And you're combining your real estate and what you're doing with real estate, but also you're helping others. Like
Right.
you are putting the message out there to support other people,
Right.
even though you're still trying to build your business and all of that. And it's
Well, I think that they go hand in hand. I want to help people if they need to find a new community to raise their family in, or, to help the businesses. Malibu is a great place. We're struggling right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a while before the Palisades is rebuilt, Malibu, but I think that Malibu is strong, Palisades is strong. We will all rebuild, but it's just bringing awareness to our community and our way of life, and
Go have a drink at sunset.
exactly.
Go have happy hour at sunset, and go hit up some of the other restaurants in the area. They're
right.
still there.
Right.
And they still
You can
want
get
us.
into Nobu without a reservation right now.
Wait, what time is it? Let's go. All right, we got a little bit longer, and we're going to know. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
I haven't been there in a while, actually. So why do you think it's important for women, regardless of, I would say even regardless of their financial situation, why do you think it's important for women to really embrace financial independence after 50?
Well, I wish I had grown up being financially independent, or I wish I'd been financially independent my whole life. And I'm trying now to teach my children how to be financially independent, because you have so much more confidence and confidence and ability to take care of yourself if you need it. You shouldn't. I relied upon a man my entire life. That's not smart. And my parents didn't teach me,
Like,
they taught me to work, but never to save or to be able to, keep all that, have some financial independence. And so it's very important to me to teach my girls to be that way.
yeah. And, my situation, I've been divorced. I was a single parent for a long time, and then lost my husband when my youngest was 6 years old. And I was a nurse, so I had that, thank God. I had my career, had my
Right.
education, went back, got my master's, started teaching at university, teaching nursing at university. I created, my husband used to say to all of his people in business, he was an executive in the tech industry, always have a plan B. So it kind of became a joke, because he would like, well, so what's your plan B? And then I don't know if you remember, what's her name? Sherry, she was with Facebook. She lost her husband suddenly while they were on vacation, and she wrote a book called Plan B. I'm like, damn it, that was my book. That was what I wanted to write. So, I have coined, since, my husband dropped dead when I'm 46 years old, and said, well, forget the plan B. I need C, D, E, F.
Right.
Like, I need all the plans, because life throws a lot of shit your way.
Right.
And
Well, when you're not financially independent, you're stuck. I felt stuck for many, many years, and that's not a place where anyone, that's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in a situation that you feel like you can't get out of because you just don't have the financial wherewithal to go out on your own.
And you never know. For me, I was 46 years old. I had another friend a year and a half later. She was probably in her mid 40s. Her husband had an aneurysm. Another one had long-term illness and lost her husband. So there's there is no guarantee that your partner is going to be there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And, if you're depending on their income or, whatever they're doing, if they're handling all the bills, if they're handling all the finances and you don't know what's going on. I can't believe to this day, I mean, my God, we're in 2025. There are still women that don't know they don't know what's in their bank account. They don't even know how to access their bills or who pays their bills well, they know their husband pays the bills, but they would have to learn all of that.
Well, it's easier not to learn all that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would love to have an assistant. Here, do all my stuff for me.
Yeah. But that's not smart.
No. Yeah. You have to be prepared for anything.
Right.
Because
not that you have to live in fear.
No.
But just be, educated and aware and
prepared.
Prepared. Yeah.
Just have that plan
B.
C, D, whatever it is.
Yeah.
My new one is Plan Z. When everything else fails.
Yeah, that's good.
Don't write the book. It's mine.
Yeah, but anyone that's out there, in their 50s trying to figure things out, I would say just try something.
Yeah.
I ran into a friend the other day in the grocery store and she's like, I'm going to be an empty nester. She's like, just went and got a job. And she was so excited, and it was like at, I don't know, Fred Siegel or something, just a retail job. It's something, and it's cool to get out there and be part of society. And, especially when you're kids or when you're an empty nester, you got to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you and I had dance girls. So our life for a very long time was back and forth 5 days a week to the dance studio, weekends at competitions. I mean, and then, driving back and forth to school and stuff like that. And I was scared to death about being an empty nester. I really was. I was like, I do not know how to be alone, number one. And I don't know how to not be taking care of people.
But you have family and grandkids now that you can take care of.
But that's part of it. But I had to learn how to be me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to be me. All I knew how to be was mom.
Okay.
And at one point wife. But
see, it's funny because everyone has their own story. I wasn't afraid to be an empty nester.
Yeah.
I looked at it differently. I was like, I've worked hard to raise my girls, it's time for them to go across the country to college. And I don't know, I just knew that they were in a good place. And so then I could be in a good place. And and thankfully I still had my husband at home. So I wasn't completely alone, but I really dove feet first into real estate.
Yeah. Well, that was your transitional, that kind of helped you.
That totally helped. Yeah.
I mean, I started doing things a few years ago. I was involved in a coaching academy. I went, and that was one of the other things. I'm always reinventing myself. And I went and got a coaching certification. And while you're going through the certification process, it's a little over a year, you also get coaching. So one of the things that I put out there as an outcome, we call it, rather than a goal, it's like an outcome, is like being more prepared for empty nesting. Well, Alexander was a freshman in high school at the time. And so I started to put stuff in place that was just about me. And that's when I started playing tennis again.
Right, awesome. Right.
And then a year ago, I started started doing stuff for my pilot's license.
That's right. I mean, that's so cool that I think that the main, I hope, message that people are getting is that it's never too late to reinvent yourself. Right. And even if I could still reinvent myself again or add something to this to be, it's all, that's what I hope the message is that we can inspire people to try something new, try a new exercise program, try a new career, try a new dance class or whatever, and also, and learning, like, I'm totally into this, financial investing and real estate. And, I'm so excited for my future, actually. Yeah. Just the learning that's going on, never stop learning.
Never stop learning. That's Never stop learning. I like that. So what would you say, your, let's say, 2 pieces of advice to wrap all this up?
I would say take matters into your own hands, try not to live in fear. I guess that was 2.
You can have as many as you want.
Educate yourself, and try to, be positive, happy people, people like to be around happy people, and it's a mindset.
Yeah.
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 Is that good?
And my thing is always make big, scary dreams. If they don't scare the crap out of you, they're not worth dreaming.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to be a badass.
Yeah. And set goals. I like that too.
Yeah.
Setting goals.
Setting goals. I think, setting goals is like probably one of the most important things. You can't, if you're just like wandering around like a feather in the wind,
right.
You can land anywhere, but maybe not where you want to land.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, and I think with the fitness or the exercise part, I think that's also, I try to start every day with some kind of exercise or take care of myself, because if you don't take care of yourself first, right. No one else is. And if I wait till later in the day, it doesn't happen. So when I know that I'm taking care of myself, then I can take care of everyone else.
So one of my things that I keep in the back of my mind is I have a friend who is 86 years old. She's actually going to be a guest.
Mm-hmm.
And she still hikes 10 miles a day.
Wow.
She can still climb trees.
Mm-hmm.
And she is constantly still reinventing herself. She was an attorney. She changed careers. She became a coach. And she has written a book, and she just is in the middle of publishing her second book.
At 86.
At 86.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
She was thinking about like maybe not doing anything new. And she's like, well, it's still clicking, still ticking here. And so at 86, and she's like, what I want to be when I grow up. Well, so find that image of what you want to be.
Right. And then go for it.
And keep,
Yeah. Because I feel like I'm 56 now, and I always thought I was going to live to 110. So I feel like I'm just starting out my second life.
Right.
And if I can take what I've learned up to this point and apply it going forward, and it's still a long life. Maybe it's not 110, but maybe it's 80 or 90.
Yeah.
That's 30 some odd years. And there's a lot that could go on in those years.
Well, and people talk about, if you knew then what you knew now,
right.
what you know now, how would you do things differently?
Right.
Well, guess what? We can do that.
Right.
We don't have to go back to our teens or to high school or college or whatever to redo our lives. We can start it today.
Right.
We know stuff.
Right. Right.
We know a lot of stuff.
Financially, if I had taken 10% of every dollar that I earned from when I first started working and put that into stocks or, some kind of investment, today I'd have so much money. So now at 56, I'm doing that. I'm putting a percentage of my income into the stock market, which I've never done. I'm making my girls do it too. And so that when I'm 80 or 90, I'll have a good stockpile of money.
There you go. And you can go on that fabulous trip. And even if you're in your 80s,
because I'm going to have, who's going to take care of me? I'm going to have to be taking care of myself. So
yeah. Yes. We've got to rely on ourselves. Okay. Well, Heather, this has been a great conversation.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing all these wonderful things.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. This has been great.
Congratulations to you too.
Thank you.
Starting a new
venture.
Yeah.
Yes. I always said my superpower is connecting the dots and bringing people together. And that's kind of what I want to do, is I want to bring people together through this and use my background in coaching and nursing and parenting and all the things that I've done to just share some of these subjects and topics.
It's wonderful that you're doing that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Right. Thanks for joining us. That's all for our show today. Thank you for joining us, and please stay tuned for more episodes. If you have some topics that you would like to have discussed, please put it in the messages, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast.